Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting? Moved by Larry.
Second.
Second by Justin. All in favor? Consent agenda. We need permission for clerk to pay insurance at time of billing, permission for clerk to pay utilities at time of billing, permission for clerk to pay utility incentives before the 25th of the month, permission for clerk to pay theater bills when due, permission for clerk to pay payment service network bills when due, permission for clerk to pay city attorney bills when due. Moved by Hale. Second by Bud. All in favor? Okay. Sheriff's report. Cody.
Okay, I think everybody got a copy of these. This is January. It was 118 things. I'd like for you to subtract 22 of those off there, because again, we try to work with the computer. We don't make the software. We can only try to talk to the people who do make it to do the right thing for us. Those VIN inspections are on there because they happened at the courthouse, so don't count the 22 when you see the VIN inspections as normal. So there was 278 things county-wide, 278 calls to service that we did. So 90 some, I just about did math wrong in my head, so I'll just say 90 some of those happened in St. Francis. I did a little research. I'm still trying to get some things sorted out on what's going on, district court, municipal court. I'm trying to put a survey together. We can't access certain stuff the way we used to through the eFlex, but I do know that there was 54 traffic incidences ran through district court, and I don't believe we ran a single traffic incident through municipal court. I know that was a number you guys had asked. That was for the whole year of 2024. Like I said, there's 54 traffic. None of them went through municipal. That all went through. What I'm trying to decipher that we can't just pull out is how many of those happened within the city limits of St. Francis of those 54. I'm trying to work those out. So there's that. We get Matt back in another week, so we'll be fully staffed again. If you guys weren't aware, Matt had to be deployed in service with the National Guard, so we've been short since October of him. We'll be getting him back from service, the 19th, I believe? Yeah, I think so. The 19th is when he comes back to work for us. We'll be happy to have him back. Our encrypted radio we should be going encrypted in probably the next month, 2 months. That's a federal standard that we have to do since we give personal information out over the radio. When that happens, we'll just disappear from everybody's scanners. So if somebody says something to you, it's not my decision. It's not something that I feel I wanted to do. It's the federal government. The state of Kansas has decided that if we want to continue to receive grants from the federal government, that maybe we should do what they say. So, so within a couple months, we will be encrypted, and you will no longer hear our radio traffic. I think at that point, I think we're going to have to open up a little bit better line of transparency than what we've done before with the public, because they relied so much on hearing what we were doing. Sometimes they knew more about what we were doing than what we knew what we were doing. So we're going to have to figure out a way to be a little bit more transparent with the public on that once that shuts off. We went into the first of the year. When we crossed over into the first of the year, we only had one person in jail. I believe we have a rotation of around 6 right now, unless somebody got out that I don't know about on one of the quick dips. But so soon after the first year, we started doing, well, we don't do it, they do it to themselves, and that makes us arrest them. But we like I said, we went across the year from the 31st to the 1st with one person spending the night in jail to probably averaging around 5 or 6 in a given day since early January. So that's gone. Our arrests have gone up dramatically.
Any idea how many of those are city? City?
One of them, again, it kind of gets a little bit complicated. It's what your municipal police department would have ran through district court anyways. There's domestic that we arrested for, probation violations, things like that. I'd say the one thing that was strictly city out of the 6 would have been 2 of them. One of them was an old case from an automobile theft that happened here. We put a warrant out for the guy. He was caught months later, picked up somewhere else, not here, put him in jail. That would have been that happened in city limits, and then the domestic happened in city limits. The one that was arrested late last week was for probation. That's what I'm trying to think. Where did the case originate? That was a county probation case. There's a couple of other probation violations from cases that happened in city limits. So let's say 3, to be fair. Three were cases that began in the city limits. But even with the municipal police department, they were major enough crimes that they would have ran through the district court. Anyways. The other thing news is I'm trying to work on getting a grant to get a pull around one of those radar trailers that display the speed. We can move it around the county where we need to. I'll talk to Dan when that time, when we get, first we got approved by the grant. We got a long ways to go before we get it, but it is something I'm trying to work on. Maybe put it different places. We can pull any place that we can pull trailer off to the side and not impede traffic. So they're not cheap, but hopefully we can get a grant to get one. So you guys have any questions of me? And if you notice, I'm kind of happy that, when you look over here to these things I told you about several months ago, those numbers are going back down again, about where they were before. When you get into the fights, the more violent crimes and stuff, those numbers are coming back down from what they were, things like that. So we had one domestic in January. That's one I was talking about with the arrest. The weird part is we had an uptick in motor vehicle accidents, mostly all fender benders, but I think we could blame that on the weather. Almost all of those happened during snowy, icy times, but 4 is an unusual number of motor vehicles accidents to happen in 1 month in the city. So there's that. So yeah, there's the one probation violation one that was from a city case. So of course, yesterday's arrest I talked about will be in February, not this month. So. Transported 2 prisoners for cases that happened in city limits. So like I said, 3. That's 3. That's about what I guessed was 3. So.
Good.
So.
Questions, anybody?
Dogs getting any better or worse?
I think the dogs have gotten better because one problem situation has been totally resolved. And that was the majority of our dog complaints.
Yeah.
So.
How many trucks were pulled over on the highway?
What's that?
How many trucks were pulled over?
I'd have to look to differentiate between trucks and vehicles. Most of our truck pullovers are out on the highway, not in through town. And that's one of my problems. I've talked to the city of Birch City about this. One of our problems is it's not, I guess I'm trying to see how I word this right. When we pull a truck, if somebody speeds through town, through St. Francis, say a bull hauler speeds through town, we're sitting up there by the museum. By the time they come out, pull over, we're pulling outside. We're stopping them outside of city limits. But if we wrote them a ticket, the violation will clearly say that it happened in city limits. One good thing about that, to follow up on there, when we pull over a truck, we have to treat it within the scope of our certification, our training, which means we're treating it as a passenger motor vehicle as far as the things that we can do and what we can't do with it, because we're not CDS certified. Talking to the troop the same way I've talked to you guys about the incoming influx of trucks that's going to slowly increase over the next couple of years, we have had a major increase in troopers. I don't know if you guys have noticed it or not, one of the CVS troopers. They came up in November. Was it November or early December? They came up November. I think the number was 17. They wrote 17 truck tickets in 1 week up here. Again, that's anywhere. They don't specify because they don't use municipal court or anything like that. They use a district court ticket. That could be anywhere in Cheyenne County, but they did 17 citations in 1 week. Last week there was a case where one of the troopers came up, did a truck thing, and found methamphetamine in the truck. So having the troopers up here is going to be a huge help as these trucks go up. Now, of course, they don't use municipal court at all. They don't even have that option to use municipal court, but they use district court. But then you get into the stuff that we can't do, like the logbooks, the weight, placards, things like that. They have a lot more options of things that they can, the brakes, things like that. So that relationship has really improved, and they are really coming up here and working on trucks. So. One thing I will say, Justin, is I don't know if you've noticed, they've been sitting up by the museum a lot more, running radar more during the daytime and stuff. To pull trucks over if they're speeding through, or any vehicle speeding through, but also to give that presence that they know that we're there. So.
Thanks, Cody.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Do you need anything else from me, or need us to stick around for anything?
Lauren, you don't have anything short related, do you? Anything, Cody?
Anything on, so I don't have to come back?
I don't think so.
Okay.
To be fair, I didn't think so in Bird City either.
It's an inside joke for us, because I said the same thing in Bird City, and I got home, and like 20 minutes later, like, yeah, you need to come back. So that's an inside joke.
I didn't know they were going to bring it up.
Yeah. Okay. All right, you guys don't need anything else?
I guess the only thing is we had talked about maybe sitting down between Lauren and yourself and going over how things are handled.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what's ran where and making sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah. And anytime you guys want to schedule that, just let me know.
Yeah.
And I'm good for it.
Okay.
Just bring some snacks and I'll be there.
Okay.
So no. But no, seriously.
Friday for donuts.
Friday for donuts. They don't have the homemade donuts in here on Fridays. So, but yeah, anytime I'm willing. Anytime you guys or any of you, want to sit down, schedule time to talk to me about something, just give the office a call and we'll schedule a time to sit down and talk about things. I know I have a lot of access to Amanda because we work in the same building. So, but that door's open for any of you guys want to talk about anything that's going on or any situation or any concern you have. So,
Alrighty. Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate
Yep.
it.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys. Thank you.
Yep. Resolution.
And I'm making, just so you know, because they asked me in Bird City why I brought deputies. If they're out and about and they're not doing anything, I've been encouraging them to come to the meetings. So we're not. Yeah, so.
Resolution 2025-1 GAAP.
It is the standard resolution that we have passed every year, just updated the dates on it. No new verbiage, no nothing other than dates.
I hear a motion to,
So moved.
moved by Kale to accept and file resolution 2025-1. Or your second?
Second.
Second by Dara.
Third.
So it's a vote. Bud? Kale? Larry?
Yes.
Dara? Yes. Justin?
Yes.
Resolution passed. CCKCF 2025 lease agreement.
Same thing with this one. It is the same lease agreement that we've had in the past. All I did was update it for the year of 2025.
Does it not automatically renew?
They prefer having a new one every year.
Okay.
Jessica actually came in at the beginning of January, and it just never got put on the agenda prior to now. But they like having a new one, just to make sure that the council is aware that it's going to stay the same rate, or if the council wants to change
It
anything.
doesn't have an automatic renewal provision, and that was at their request. Section 3.01 states what the term of the lease is, and it doesn't say that it shall automatically renew.
We probably should do this before the first of the year, I'm assuming.
That's the goal this year.
Because we start doing our budget over there. So they were asking tonight if it was signed, so I said, we'll get on.
So when do you guys do your budget then?
We're gonna pass this up every minute.
I'm just like, for future, if we're deciding to increase the rent,
Yeah, I mean, to know by January, I mean, usually January, December,
yeah,
where-
that's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
If we would
could-
discuss it in December, that way January
It comes
1,
effective.
Yeah. So you might
Yeah.
make note of that. Do we have any questions, any
Make
changes?
a motion. I'll move to keep everything the same with the lease agreement.
Second by Bud, all in favor?
Yep.
All right.
I'll abstain since I'm on that board.
Okay. Trash waiver renewals for 315 South College and 405 South Lorraine. Moved by Hale,
Here, second.
second by Larry, all in favor? Chicken permit, Chris Warner, it's a new one. Dan, do you have any issues with it?
No.
I hear a motion to approve. Moved by Hale,
Second.
second by Sarah, all in favor? The water, it's not on there? Which one? Chicken.
No, it was a late entry.
Oh, it's on the share.
You guys
It's
are,
okay.
Okay,
you just thought of
on the, okay. Building permits, 118 West Emerson.
114.
This one always West Emerson.
That's because it has from my address, then it has underneath it the address of the property to be raised, and it says 114.
Lauren's tearing her house down.
Five more bucks.
Anybody have any questions on that? Do we hear a motion to approve the raising permit?
Is there a party?
Sorry?
Farm race?
Yes.
There's, no, actually, yes. BYOB, BYOC, you can come sit on our front lawn and watch it be demolished. It was supposed to be this upcoming Saturday. With the weather, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Moved by Kale to approve, second by Larry, all in favor. Library grant request and support letter.
Terry had sent over an email explaining that they are going to be looking into putting in a grant next door with CCKCF. She originally had requested authority to look for grants as the city. We informed her today that they are separate, especially because this grant that she's going for is for their computers. We don't own their stuff. We own the building. So I asked her if she would like permission from the council to have a letter of support instead. She agreed to that. So just wanted to find out if you guys are good with her, with getting her a letter of support for her grants.
Yep. Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal and dental plan option.
So Jen and I met with Greg Wayne, our new rep for Blue Cross Blue Shield. Our overall has decreased 14.30%. from previous year.
The premiums went down?
Yes.
Yeah, it was quite a surprise to both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They explained it that it's due to the age of the employees. We have a lot more younger, basically like Kaylee. She brought it down for us, is how it was explained that it's based off the age.
And pool usage.
Yeah, and the surrounding, that also are on the pool. The dental option, they have provided us with a number for the dental. They stated that for us to have it, it would require 25% of the employees, the full-time employees, which basically means 3 employees would need to want and accept the coverage. Reason why it's out there is to see if, the council, how you guys want to do it. It would be separate. It would be a separate policy than our grandfathered policy. It does not affect our grandfathered policy at all. It is totally separate. It's basically like a cafeteria plan that we offer from Liberty National or Aflac.
So that would be the employee's responsibility to pay that premium?
Correct.
So all we would be doing is just offering it?
Yes.
But you have to have 3.
We have to have 3 employees that want it and sign up for it and keep it. Right? Like they have to keep it. We have to keep at least 3 on their desk.
What's everyone's thoughts?
What's the difference in the other cafeteria plan?
Well, so this isn't a cafeteria plan, this is dental coverage.
You
But
don't-
what she was saying is like, we pay full premium for like our Aflac and Liberty National.
In which those actually, we have, they also offer the dental plans.
Do we have employees? It's been offered before.
A long time ago it was.
Yeah.
We do have employees that are interested. I know of at least 2.
Can I put it out there?
Mm-mm. I mean, if they're paying the premium, we're just, it's no cost to the city, correct? It's just,
Right.
Correct.
And I mean, if ever at some point, and I'm not asking you to do this, I'm just saying, if ever at some point you wanted to be part of the benefit package, I'm not sure how that would work. I guess we didn't specifically ask that. I mean, I don't know if that's something that you guys could offer and pay for.
I would assume so.
I would think so, because then you would likely have 100% participation. But that's clearly a discussion probably for another year, because we've already set the budget and stuff. So, and there is 2 plans. So, would we have to pick one plan or the other to offer? Was that the deal?
Yeah.
So there isn't a current dental plan now?
Not with Blue Cross. Aflac offers one. Does Liberty National?
I believe so.
So, but Blue Cross offers this.
What does that like offer in dental?
What is it?
Aflac offers basic coverage all the way up to just having any kind of specialty riders on the policy. It's all pre-taxed out of the employee's payroll if they so choose. They can have, cosmetic, dental insurance as a rider on top of the basic. It comes out of every payroll, I know that. Averages on how they want it set up. They get to set it up however they want when they meet with the Aflac representative.
I would say put it out there to offer. And see who wants.
Let's see what kind of response.
Yeah.
Do you want to offer there were 2 plans. One's a little bit lower end. He said that if he was going to offer it, he would probably, for the difference in premium, which was like $24 or something, doing that off the top of my head, he would probably offer the better plan.
How much is the premium?
For the lower end one, did you copy this for them?
Yeah.
Does everybody have this packet?
I don't have that one.
No, I didn't. copy off the Blue Cross Blue Shield for everyone because it would have killed more trees. So, where is it?
So what, is this the lower plan or the premium plan?
Blue Care Dental Plus is the lower plan. Dental Care Pro, the one that says Dental Care Program is the higher one.
Higher one?
So this one is the $36.99. That's the employee.
Yeah, I'd say just let them.
I think we have to pick one or the other to offer, because if we get one person that wants to pick one and then two that wanna pick the other, then you're on, right? You're not meeting the criteria.
Correct. See, I think it was $3 difference or something like that, because the monthly premium for the Blue Care Dental Plus is only $31.33.
$3,000 a month.
No. Okay, so for the lower, so I'm gonna go, for the Blue Care, which is the lower one, for an employee, it's $31.33. For the higher plan, it's $36.99 for the employee.
Yeah.
For the employee children on the lower one, it's $62.42 a month. For the, I guess the better plan, I don't know if that's the right word for it, it's $79.93 for if a person wants to sign up for employee children. For employee spouse, the lower end one was $67.35 a month, and the other $79.36. And then for a family, the lower end one was $98.44 a month, and then the other one is $122.32 a month. So it's not, it wouldn't just be for the employee. They could choose to put their family on it if they wanted, or. But I think you do need to pick one or the other that we can offer, so, you know, that way we're not having issues there. If two people want one and one wants the other, then we can't offer.
Have you had inquiries one way or the other?
Did you end up handing this stuff out with everything too?
No. No, I wanted to get their choice first. I do, like I said, I know of 2 employees that have shown an interest in the Blue Cross Blue Shield dental plan. They don't know the rates yet, but I know that they've marked it on their forms before, and I've had to tell them that, you know, we don't have it through Blue Cross Blue Shield. So, and I don't know if they want to wait to speak with the Aflac or the Liberty National to get their rates, or what.
Can we just offer it, and if
Yeah.
they don't
That's-
want it,
I mean,
then go on?
If
They
you,
can look
because you have
into
to
the
have
other
3
thing.
anyways, and if you have 3, then
Right.
if 2 want one and 1 wants the other, then we'll go with the majority.
Right.
Because you have to have 3, so, I mean, I guess kind of leave it to the employees as to
Yeah.
what they, because if we pick the higher one and you have somebody says, I don't want to pay that much, then they don't want it, then we don't meet their criteria either. So I guess if we have enough employees, if we have the minimum of the 3, and then let's see which plan they prefer and go with the majority that way.
Okay.
Is that all on the insurance?
Just need a motion to approve the new contract.
So move.
Moved by Dara,
Second.
second by Kale, all in favor? Okay. 2024 year-end transfers.
Is-
I don't know, do we?
They did. I don't know. Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know, I saw them too.
Yes, I saw them. Haha. Nope.
Justin, may I need a copy? You can need a copy.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna need a copy.
I have all my reports too, sorry.
Let me just go and get, while you guys are looking at that, I'm just gonna go get a copy of this so she can have her original back.
At the week.
Oh, okay. I know, I heard it too. I'm like,
It's the ghosts.
it's the ghost.
Did you want to explain what we're looking at? She got your coffee? I didn't know she took your coffee.
So the first page of the year-end transfers is showing the fund accounts at the end of December, and then in the green column, sorry, I know, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay. It will show the encumbrances and the expected expenditures, basically. That green column is actually page 3 of the packet. It shows the payroll. It shows the first 2 payrolls for the year. Because of the pay dates, the pay periods of them ran from December 6th through the end of the year. So that's why they are on there as expenditures, basically the outstanding bills. This was fun because we were trying to do it as of the end of the year with already having bills being paid and whatnot. It shows on that same page the estimated period 13. Those are bills that have already been paid or are scheduled to, at least as of the February 7th when I printed the report. Tried to make it as up to date as possible. The third column in yellow is the encumbrances. 3,000 of that in the general is actually in the vouchers tonight, which was for the fire department. The 200,000 for the capital improvement, that's been paid for the 2024. It's already being billed out for the 2025.
That's for Ward, right?
Yes, that's for Ward.
Just the 2,000 special highway.
That is Russell Construction for grading that ditch.
Is that the ditch out at his property?
It's the one that runs behind, where's that? Behind
The
River?
industrial park, beside him, yeah.
So page 2 will show you the budget authority that we have for spending per the fund. Sorry, the fund name did not carry over. It shows you the expenses that were paid as of December 31st, the period 13, basically everything that is on sheet 3. It also has a line item for the transfers out that should match the first page, and then the difference in the fund balance that is based off of the first page.
What page which one are you from?
Oh, so page 2 is the gray and white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it shows the differences in the fund balances from page 1. That has all the lovely colors. It shows the transfers out that also match what's shown on the transfers out on the first page. It does not show the transfers in because it's only the expenditures coming out of the accounts. The fourth page is what we are proposing for the transfers themselves. Per fund to the fund, we have, Jen and I went over this, the 2024 budget for transfers out. Shows from the utility, $265,000 going to general fund, $200,000 going to the capital improvements, $75,000 going to equipment reserve. From the sewer fund, $20,000 to general. From the infrastructure sales tax, $163,642,000 going to the infrastructure improvement fund. Same infrastructure sales tax, $93,433 going to the bond and interest fund, and then we have the refuse fund, $40,000 to capital improvement and $40,000 to equipment reserve. So we looked into it, and I agreed with Jen on it. Currently, our general fund is at $410,000, which we normally keep around, or we normally at the transfers is around $250,000, $300,000. So we're pretty well off on the general fund. With our budget authority of transferring the funds, though, we felt it would be better if we transferred the $200,000, splitting it, putting $100,000 into capital improvement, and then $100,000 into the equipment reserves, instead of putting it into the general fund.
I just don't think, we don't really carry a super high balance in the general fund, not like what those transfers would do. And so when Leanne and I talked, I suggested, so we're just talking out of the budgeted, just now the $265,000 that was budgeted from utility fund to general. The other $200,000, so I suggested putting $65,000 into the general fund from utility, and then $200,000 into capital improvement, and then, or excuse me, $100,000 into capital improvement, but $100,000 into equipment reserve from the utility. I mean, our equipment reserve isn't big, and we've had a few things break down that we've had to unexpectedly buy. So that's why I suggested doing that. Was it the sewer? We had a sewer transfer that could be transferred into the general fund. We stuck that in equipment reserve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking with some of the stuff that's been breaking down, if we get that equipment reserve built up a little bit, it might be a good idea.
Which could also be utilized
for a new forklift
So for,
for the recycle center.
did we get funds from the county for that?
I don't think we've seen any fund yet.
They came last week.
They did. Yes, we did.
Funds for what?
Forklift for recycle, we got a third of the county split it 3 ways. They kept a third, they gave a third to Bird City and a third to St. Francis, I believe. How they split that money.
So did we receive that to general? We would have, correct?
I believe he did.
Do we
How
know?
much is that?
So I
How
don't know
much
if it
is
was
it?
a third, but it was 40,000. Just over 40,000 was what they gave for that. We also received a check for, what was it, just under 21,000 for the reimbursement costs for the materials and the labor. So we did receive that.
So do we need to earmark that for recycling? Then
Oh, no, I was just saying that it.
I know, but
we couldn't
I
have
thought you said to put it in the general, but I just like, do we need to make sure that's earmarked separately so we,
Well, it depends. I mean, if the intention of it was to buy a forklift, then we didn't budget for a forklift this year. So even though we received that money in, but it's
We
in the
didn't.
general fund, so.
we didn't budget? I mean, we didn't know that we were gonna get those
Right,
funds either.
exactly.
And I thought the whole purpose was asking the county to divvy that money
Right.
and take them out of the equation so the cities could do their own things, and one would be getting the forklift for us, correct, Dan, isn't it? And that's kind of the way I,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
Any idea what you're looking at there, money wise?
I just wanna make sure that money doesn't get lost within the general, that we have that earmarked of what, if we're using it for recycling expenses, and that's what it came from.
Makes me wonder if we could have, I don't know this, we would have to check with the auditors if we could have receipted in an equipment reserve. If we could have, then we could do a journal voucher. But I don't know the rules on that. We'd have to, that would
Might
be an
check and
email
see,
to
yeah.
Danielle. Because if so, then we could do a journal entry and get it where it needs to go.
Okay,
So you're just thinking to set that aside?
for recycling, yeah.
Where was the original forklift?
The other, where was
Wasn't
it?
there a forklift there to begin with?
There is one, right? Still?
Yeah, there's one up there, but
But it don't work.
it's not really big enough to load out the semis like we had to start doing now for the cardboard. So.
What about just trying to get a loader with forks?
Well, we got skid steer, but that's not as easy as a forklift. To load a semi with. I mean, we have a skid steer. The loader, you have to be careful going in and out the door.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard
We'll
to
just
get.
push it out the door.
But you'd have to put it all outside one way or another if you're gonna do that. Cause that's only, I think that's only a 12-foot door. I think very tall.
So how big a forklift we talking about? Like the one like Yost traction?
Possibly. Somewhere we could just raise it up
So
and
you
have the
need to-
side shift and stuff.
And all terrain to be outside?
Yeah, basically.
So I decided to get pretty expensive.
Which I think that's why we had those funds from the county. Cause we talked when it was still kind of a joint thing to see if they would purchase one with those funds. So I think we wanna make sure we keep those earmarked
I agree.
for recycling expenses. So I guess you can check and see if that's doable. And then does anybody have questions on so which sheet is the one that was budgeted?
Originally budgeted?
Mhm.
Oh, none of them, I'm sorry.
Actually,
Wait.
I do have a question.
Dan, you wanna look on Purple Wave and see what forklifts you're going for?
A long time ago I did,
Yeah.
not recently.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh, yep, and 75,000. Do you want me to go copy this for them? That's what they were
Yeah.
originally asking.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Pretty big, pretty honest with you.
Huh?
I said a
What's
pretty
that?
big one.
I don't know, what size do we need?
I don't know the exact term of the forklifts, how big. I mean, we're stacking bales 3 high, 4 high on semis.
No kidding.
What does that one call it, Yost? It's longer. Have you seen those?
Oh, is it like a loading over?
Kind of like, it's made to do equipment, but you know. It's stable, so you know. And it's all terrain, so you actually get outside.
That one the crosses have, that'd be doable.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's rated for. Or what price that would be.
What about the cat? What they got? Similar to that, but it's.
I would think.
Anybody have questions on that? So this last sheet is the proposed
Yes.
updated.
That is the proposed, and that would be the one that would lead the motion.
What's everyone's thoughts?
So how do we know after these transfers what we're allowed, what our budgeted use would be? What we're allowed to spend? Yeah, but where's that? Did I miss that?
Is this,
This, no, so this is what we, these are the transfers we budgeted for. You're
Yeah,
talking like our
transfer budget.
overall, what we can
Oh.
spend?
Yeah.
That would be within our budget. That would give us our budget authority to spend.
No, that has the 2024 budget authority, doesn't it?
This is basically transferring cash.
Okay.
In the end, we're taking cash.
From 24 into these different funds for 25.
Yeah, our budget authority would be the 2025 budget, or what we can spend out of it.
And some of it we had earmarked already forward.
Right, we're just, normally we do these before the end of the year, but then we found out last year that a lot of places do it right into the new year because then they've got a lot of their December expenses paid. We are a little bit late getting these done, but, so basically it's just transferring cash, so you've got the cash to utilize because we've already set the budget, so.
I get that. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out after these transfers where we're at as far as authority. to be able to use.
Well, that's a new.
That would be the budget, that would still be your budget. So we have to budget. That's where it's a little confusing because you have what funds are paid out of ad valorem tax that we get from the county. That determines what the city's mill levy is, and then you have what we have actual cash that we have to budget for spend authority, a budget authority that we can spend. So there's kind of two different parts to the actual budget when we do
These are
that.
kind
So
of like
whatever we
within the budget.
Are you asking for streets and what with capital improvement?
Yeah, I'm curious
what
as to
money's
where we're
going.
gonna end up.
Okay. So that would be best if we did those reports at the next meeting. So
Okay.
I'll have to do a journal entry for these.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily what we can spend in the general fund or the other. You now want to see if what we have once we get these done, like for the
Yes.
streets.
Yeah, to try
That
to look
makes
at
sense. Yeah.
what funds we are actually gonna have available so we can stay on the projects that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So we can have that
But
available.
as far as what we can spend, I mean, that's still budget authority within the
Right.
2025 budget.
Right.
Okay,
And
okay.
Yeah.
capital improvement and equipment reserves is non-budgeted.
So basically, it's these transfers here that we're,
How we
Whatever.
Okay,
if we agree.
If you agree to us changing what we had originally budgeted, given the fact that we have a pretty good chunk of cash in the general fund. That's the biggest thing. And honestly, it was just my opinion. I shared it with Leanne, but it's just my opinion.
see any issues?
But you can take that you can take that out anytime, correct? They don't just have to stay in there.
As far as the capital improvement and equipment
Mhm.
reserve, I mean, yeah, you'd have to have qualified things to spend it on. But, yeah, those are budgeted.
What's the difference if we just left it in general?
That would be, go ahead.
We would have had a lot of cash in there.
And then we could have ran into budget authority as far as what we spend out of there based off of the budget, depending on. So if we move all those funds in there, then depending on what we budgeted to spend out of the different allocated.
So the expected year end on page 1, is that after the transfers are made and what we would have access to, like on capital improvement?
That was page 2, that's after the budgets, right?
Am I looking at the wrong page?
This was one. Yeah.
No, you're on page 1, the expected year end. Yes, those are supposed to be after the transfers are made. They take into account all of the lines prior to them. So all of the encumbrances, all of the outstanding or expected bills, those all then go to the expected year end based off of the balance of the end of December.
So it'd be usable funds
Yes.
if we decided to pursue the projects we've been talking about. That's what I needed right there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see some of these numbers.
Yeah. Anybody have any other concerns with the transfers? Anybody okay with what Jen and Leanna came up with? If so, do I hear a motion to approve the transfers? What?
Can I get them read?
Yes, absolutely. Which page was that again? The last one?
The very last one, please.
Alrighty, so we have 65,000 transferred from utility to general, 300,000 from utility to capital improvement, 175,000 from utility to equipment reserve, 20,000 from sewer to equipment reserve, 163,642 from infrastructure sales tax to infrastructure improvement, $93,433 from infrastructure sales tax to bond and interest, debt service, $40,000 from refuse to capital improvement, and $40,000 from refuse to equipment reserve. Do I hear a motion?
So
to approve?
moved.
Moved by Darren, second by Kale, all in favor. Alrighty. Old business. Mayor appointments PBC board.
Can I get a copy of all that?
So, at the last meeting, it was brought up about the PBC board and the appointments not being correct as of right now. As of right now, the appointments are 2 council members, 2 public building commission members, and 3 members at large. Per ordinance number 602, it states that it should be made up of 7 members. 3 of the members shall be of the governing body. 2 from the PBC, or sorry, the Rec Commission, not the PBC. And then 2 members at large. It got changed after there was a whole issue of seeing that there were 3 council members. So currently it's just like there's a vacant seat, and you guys can appoint someone to fill the seat, and then Amanda can appoint them as a mayor appointment. I know it got a little confusing because it was, it has to be council members. It does not. It has to be governing body. So I don't know if that's the thin line of where, you know.
Well, that still goes back to, it should be 3 council members.
Well, it could be
Governing
2 council or the mayor, and the mayor or whatnot.
Yeah.
The whole thing, though, is not trying to have quorum, and I get it. You guys aren't going to be talking about a city actual official business, but
Talking about
it's just
PBC business, so
Yeah.
which is a different entity in itself. And I get the way, why they set it up this way, because this,
Mm-hmm. I was there.
so you 2 are,
Yeah.
so we just need to come up with a 3rd then, and then make that appointment. Anybody want to volunteer?
It's once a year.
it's
10
Once a
minutes.
and it does go in line with your council term.
I mean, I can do it if there's any concern as far as voting members of the council. Is everybody
That's
okay
actually
with
not a
that?
bad idea.
I think that would be best.
Yeah. Okay, you go ahead and put me down.
Okay.
So who does that put on there then?
It puts
Us
Deb,
3.
Larry, you, Kelly Fruins
Kelly
at
Fruin.
large, Carla Lampe is at large,
Bruce Whitehart,
Bruce Swihart,
Susan Dinkle,
yes, and then Holly
Holly
Hinks.
Hinks.
I don't know how they need a motion. That's because now they're going to have to remove one of the members at large.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Carla would be happy going back to an alternate, but that would be up to their board.
Right. I'm
I
just.
would like to clear that with them before we make that
I know,
decision.
'cause she's had her whole heart in
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say you guys have to make the decision, but to get it fully proper, it's going to have
I
to
have
be
to
like
reach
a
out to the
motion.
PBC.
Yes, and so
Reach
then
out
once
to
you
the
figure that out.
PBC, yeah, since, I mean, give them a copy of the ordinance so they understand.
Yes, I planned on giving them also a copy of their own bylaws. I don't know if Kelly has misplaced them or whatnot, because they have me making the agenda, but it's supposed to be their secretary that's supposed to be coordinating all of that.
Budgeted allocations, Western Kansas Child Advocacy Center and Cheyenne County Food Pantry.
So as requested, I reached out to both of the organizations to get their profit loss and statements of ongoings for the council, so you guys could see what they've done, what they're planning on doing, their financials.
Is this the one we already budgeted in?
We did, they just hadn't, Western Kansas hadn't came, usually they come and give their kind of report, and they hadn't.
okay.
And then the food pantry is a new one, that we gave them funds last year, the year before.
The year before, they came in and they, towards the end of the year, and 2023, the council approved giving them the final $1,000 in that budget for the community allocations. They came in 2024 to ask to be put on for the 2025 budget. At the time, they didn't have any of their financials or anything like that. They were dealing with a refrigerator thing that they were supposed to get quotes for the council to see. They still have not received those from the company.
But didn't they get a new refrigerator? Based on what I read here, or not?
I believe they got new to them refrigerator. I think it has a broken front glass part to it, but I'm not 100% positive on that.
They get money from the county as well?
Yes, that just started this year as well. They went to the county last year for their budget time, and the county has stated that every year that they would also.
Do you know how much?
That I do not.
I thought it was 3,800.
3,800?
Are these expenses for the total building up there? I mean, is that allocated, is that separated as what is food pantry and what is?
So the building up there, only the food pantry has utilities. The 4 bays up there have no electrical at all.
But as far as like the taxes, that would be property taxes, there would be.
They do not pay the property taxes. That all comes out of the homeowners. Or, sorry, the property owner.
Okay, what's listed on here is an expense, but it wasn't.
The property?
Property taxes.
I know that they were supposed to see if the food pantry wanted to pay their portion of the property taxes, but I have no idea if any of that came to fruition.
Jason, is the property taxes for the entire building?
don't know. That's what I was asked. That was for the property. And the IRS filing, is that a yearly filing? Do you know? Should we just have Zona come in instead of asking you questions that you may or may not have to answer?
Well, I can tell you that the property tax listed on here is not the property tax for that property.
Okay.
This would actually be, I would say, a quarter of what that property tax is. The IRS filing fee, I am not 100%, but I can request Zona come in and go over it, or Joe, who does their bookkeeping.
Okay. Yeah. Does that work for everybody?
I don't.
I'll start to answer this child and see what that's, I've been coming several years and been having problems with that one. Whatever that one takes. Property cleanup. I've had a couple brought to my attention, and it's not
What's
really-
up?
I said I've had a couple brought to my attention that might need to be on our radar. I'll get confused. Right before a snowstorm's probably not the best time to bring them up, but once spring starts, I suppose we should probably get. And I don't know, we've talked about doing quadrants, we've talked about doing, I guess that's something to think of, and maybe March we can kind of pin down how we want to tackle property cleanup for this year. So we usually start in the spring. Will that work? Everybody kind of give it some thought. If we want to do as we've been and just kind of pick the worst, or if we kind of want to section off town and kind of do it.
The thing I don't like about the quadrant is if you get something that's not in that area
And it's
that needs
really
addressed.
Yeah, that's why I don't like the quadrant. I know it's been brought up, but I don't know that I like the quadrant.
I don't know that it would have to be exclusively that quadrant, though. I mean, obviously, if something was in dire need of attention, doing it by quadrant wouldn't mean we can only exclusively
Sure.
do that quadrant. It just means that if they're driving around looking for houses out of compliance, they will be focusing on those quadrants. But if there's something that is beyond the pale in another quadrant, it's not that they wouldn't have the ability to take photos and send letters on that.
Just think, no bigger than the town is, and we
I
get.
don't think it'd take too long.
No, I don't think I think we just focus on the town and focus on the worst, and then, or if we. So, anyways, keep that in mind, and we'll maybe towards the end of March start getting geared up on property cleanup. Projects pending. Anything on that?
Do you want to talk about the G-Works then, or do you want to do it in my report? The municipal court. Oh, municipal court software. There's a
You
discussion.
whenever you want to.
I can do it in my report.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I was like, oh,
It wasn't in my report last time, so I just thought I'd ask. I'll do it.
Anything on?
And we're almost spring 2025
Beautification.
and yes.
Beautification, yeah.
Intersection repairs and city hall planners and flagpoles and visions.
Are we up to discuss the streets or not?
Not yet. We still got to get with the engineer.
Are we up to?
get a general layout of what his thoughts are, before we can really dive into it. Dan, he's working on that.
So you
I will
looked at
say-
different ones?
Yeah, we,
Yeah, that's my
Justin and Amanda and I met and kind of come up with a priority list, of where we thought we needed to go, and then take those 3 or 4 priorities that we had, and then get a hold of, help me out here, Miller and Associates, and see if we can get a general idea what kind of money we're up against. Because a couple of these projects we looked at are pretty good sized, and if we get a feel for the money, then I think we can appropriate the funds and really jumpstart this and get going. I did talk to Brock McAtee for a while today too about looking at some options like up in
Sunny Hill.
Sunny Hill, thank you. And just kind of getting a feel from him, and I think if we're going to use Brock in the future, I think it'd be a good idea to try to roll more than just 1 or 2 small projects into him at the same time. I think it'd be better for him, number one, but I think we'd get more accomplished if we try to put more to Brock when we can, and maybe even get to the point to where every year, if we've got some concrete projects or something like that, to where we can just roll Brock right into something like that.
So what about just getting together and figuring out a few of these things and having them come up with a price?
Say that again?
Some of these quadrants of projects that we want on the streets, have him come up with a price of how much he wants to do with a price.
Well, I mean, we've,
Until we talk to Miller's, I don't know where we're gonna be at as far as what's concrete and what's not.
Well, if he has an idea of what he thinks might be better, too.
I just mentioned it to him. Whether or not he'll get back to me or any kind of a time frame, I can't say that. It was just another idea I had to maybe get him involved too, and see if he could give us some other ideas.
which we've done projects with Brock every year up until, we did the
In a couple of years.
We did
the alley
big grant.
aprons, and we've done certain intersections, and I think, are we still looking at?
We talked about the intersections a little bit today too.
And I think that's a matter of, we did so many, and I don't know if did we have a set amount? Dan, do you remember? Do either you guys?
And can they do any of the curb and gutter? I mean, like, for some of the homeowners?
So that's curb and gutter would be the homeowner's responsibility. if
Right.
They wanted that
That's
done.
what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And some of them have said they would be willing to have it done, and they just want it repaired. Or, that's what some of them have said to me, some of them may not,
Yeah.
But, so then when they're ready to do the streets,
Yeah, I mean,
What
that's
would
up
be
to if the
done?
owners want to
Yeah, it's
contact
Well, I
Brock
something
themselves. I mean,
well, I
don't
didn't
think
know
they'd
if
have
it said, hey,
Brock would do that kind of stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
he's done most of the work, concrete work for us anyway.
But I mean, as far as once we get to the streets that we want to do, then if they're in disrepair and we have to get them done before we do the streets, then, I mean, but if they want to get it done prior to any street work, I don't think that they have to wait for anything on the city.
I just asked Brock to take a look at, like, Sunny Hill as an example, and just see what his thoughts were. I still think we need to see what Miller and Associates comes up with, so we can justify what kind of funds we're looking at.
Have we talked to him yet? Like, gave him a phone call yet?
He's working on it, he hasn't heard back yet.
and some of those curb and gutters up there are
That's a whole
different.
different,
I
that's a
know.
whole
It's a
different
whole
game.
different thing.
That
That's
up
why I'm
there's gonna be
saying,
a whole
do
different.
they know how they wanna fix them?
Are we gonna be able to take any advantage of when they come in to do the highway or while the mill is here, the plant's here, are we gonna be able to take any advantage of that?
I don't.
That gets into the
I mean, that's,
access road stuff again, doesn't it?
well, I mean, that's the state who they contract with, and that would be,
I don't know.
if we had, if we signed on to do work with the same company that the state's doing the work and they would, agree to do it, but I don't even know who that they would be using.
Have they decided if they're coming 2026 or whenever for the entrance? Highway entrance?
I heard from Michael Baxter, and I know that they're trying to get some things lined up, but I haven't heard when.
I'm sorry.
I've heard from Michael Baxter, but I haven't heard when they were planning to come through and do. I haven't seen it on any of the state's work for this year, so I would assume it'd be 2026.
They were saying, yeah, 25 or 26, but
Maybe it would be nice if we could get a crew that would come in while that plant's here and actually do some with the plant here. That would be the time to do it. We wouldn't have
Yeah.
to. But I kinda like the idea of getting some curb and gutter done ahead of time and it'd be done. And then if we get somebody, well, we don't have to have the state crew that, I'm sure you can get whatever mix you want out of there while they're here. Cause the other crews do it. So, if we could get somebody that would come in while they're here with the plant and do some of our roads, we wouldn't have to be hauling or we'll have hot mix right here.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't know
I
enough
don't
about
have
that, how
that.
to answer that.
Dan, do you have an,
Not sure now.
we can try to check into it.
Do you know, Justin?
I'd say if we have the engineer and we have someone in mind, then they could call and
Yeah.
see who's lined up, yeah.
And even the company that the state has
Yeah.
might bid it too.
I'm
if
sure they have their
know.
contacts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're working in the right direction on getting some things nailed down. It's just a matter of
Just never
the
seems-
price and
never
then
seems to
knowing.
go fast enough.
I know. The price and how much money we have to do what, so. But yeah, I think if people want their curb and gutter, I mean, I think they can.
Well, I guess it depends too,
Well, we
what
talked
the
about doing-
requirement's gonna be. You know, you hate to have them fix it and then
Yeah.
they're not what's gonna work later when they come and do the street.
Like
Mhm.
Sunny Hill, that the curbs,
Mhm.
yeah, that would be probably the.
Somebody mentioned that some of that might be able to be cut out. I don't understand exactly how they do that.
That's why you almost have to have somebody in there to look at it first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
To know.
Yeah.
all the sidewalk is one piece
Mm-hmm.
and the gutter is one piece also. You can't just do,
But you don't want somebody to go in there and spend the money to
Right.
do the one
Do
piece
it.
again, and then we're like, oh no, that's not gonna work. And
well, I think they probably can, and they just go back and put, milling it down on the side, like, and then once it's time, they just tear it all out. It's usually what we do. You just put down some millings down as right there, or you just tore it out from the street.
or maybe
and-
have millers look at that when they're here.
That's
Just-
that's
Yeah.
one of the areas we're going to take a look at.
Yeah.
So we just need to, once we get an answer from Millers and have them take a look at, and give us a rough, and I'm just looking for rough figures.
Mhm.
If we get an idea of what it's going to cost and then make a decision based on what funds we have available, I think we can start making some headway.
Mhm.
But until we get some concrete numbers, I mean, we're really shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a $2 project, could be $200. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It may be way beyond anything we can tackle unless we do it in increments or something. That's what we're trying to find out.
Mhm.
And do we want, I mean, I don't know if you've already got, we had on here the city planners, city hall planners, flagpoles and benches. Do we already have those benches?
Probably out on the
Or do we need to have a committee looking into this? Cause we earmarked it spring of 25.
Yeah.
We kinda wanted to get something going.
Did we get the bench for the out here?
Well, the bench for out here, Brock was supposed to replace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he supposedly had
Okay.
it for,
I think that's-
3
yeah.
council meetings ago.
And flagpoles and,
Did we
Flagpoles
get the flagpole?
Flagpole are back here, yeah, in
Okay.
this hallway.
just needs set.
Yeah. But we talked about pulling out I thought they were supposed to pull the bushes when they did
Yeah, they were gonna pull, that was supposed to be part of it.
and they didn't. So
They
I guess we need to decide what we want to do with the.
are you creative with planners? and-
Sure.
Do we want to tackle that on Washington Street?
Let's beautify this whole damn town.
Okay.
Throw some streets in there too. When is the next beautification committee time frame?
We should probably get together before springtime comes. I'll shoot an email. What works for you? Derry, you usually during the day will work, right? We were meeting at like 4. Would that work for
that
you?
usually works.
Or does 5, would it work better after?
4.
4 would work. Does that work for you, Chester? What
Yeah, just
days?
make time, I can make arrangements.
Okay. Because then we have Carla and
Robin,
and
if they still want
Chris.
on it.
Yep. I'll reach out to Carla and Robin and Chris and we'll get a date
Okay.
nailed down.
Chris.
Oldison, he's easy. I think that's it, right? Because we had Dustin, he's no longer here. Okay. Yep, we'll get on that one. Anything else on project spending?
And the theater renovation project is, I mean, they're still gathering information, looking at the, Quentin, just trying to still gather information. At the last meeting, he didn't have all his contractors lined up yet, and then they'll bring something to the council to proceed then forward with maybe applying for some grants and such. Council's in approval of what they're thinking. They've even looked at the new sound system. It sounds like they might need it updated too, because it's pretty old.
Anything else on streets projects? And we discussed that. Anything else?
Yeah, I'll call Tyler tomorrow. I mean, I called him, gave him a heads up basically. And he said that if we could work it when Bird City does theirs, it would work better because we're gonna have people out here probably doing Bird City.
Sure.
He's already working on something for Bird City.
Yep.
I'll call him.
That'd be a good idea.
Down a little better.
Quicker we get him here, the better.
Theater report?
That's kind of what I just.
Yeah, I was like, you just kind of
I know,
touched on that,
yeah,
but I
just
didn't know if they
kinda
had
touched.
anything else.
Trying to think what else Basically, they were talking about the renovation and some employee changes and
Yes, their
staying on top of that.
newest hire has already resigned. They have gotten an applicant or two for the next gen. I've spoken to both of the Jessicas, Jessica with theater and Jessica next door, in regards to how that all works with the next gen. They deal with the interview process, all of the paperwork on that. It does require the children the students' base rate be $12 an hour. The city would have to cover the match taxes for the Social Security, Medicare, things like that. But they reimburse the city based off of how many hours they work, up to 25 hours per week, at 2 different intervals. So basically the city has to put the money forward first, then get reimbursed.
Up to 25 hours a week?
Up to 25 hours a week. The students can actually apply for multiple positions at any
Places.
of the
At different
any of the
places.
businesses, and they can be hired by multiple businesses, and each business can have up to the 25 hours. I cleared that one with that. But they have gotten a couple. I know of one.
Do you know when the deadline is? The applications, or where everybody will know whether or not you can hire somebody? Is it April or something?
I should have already started. I can talk to Jessica. I mean, I'm not, renovation really doesn't have anything to do with
Okay,
that.
alright.
We just have some insurance, that's all, at the foundation.
Yeah, I think the students have until the first week of March to submit their applications online or
Okay.
show which ones they're interested in. And then during the month of March is the interviews and hiring processes.
So I know some people that have already got applications, different places and stuff, so. Okay. So that answers what I was asking you about earlier with the pool then too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but the city doesn't see it,
Right.
the managers do.
Superintendent report.
Do you want to talk about land?
What'd you find out?
He wants to either, well, it's already not. He wants to either like maintain it and use it, or he would purchase it if it's not very much, just up to that ditch.
Just up to the ditch, so we'd have to go off with a different description.
He said either way, that's all he wants is that one little corner.
You're here?
Just
I don't know
that
if you guys
little
remember.
corner.
We were approached about a little triangle of ground
So it's
down.
Bob Ogden's
We're just
land.
not sure whether we were mowing it or not or
So this
something.
was, this is part right here, just to be able to park stuff or whatever.
What do they want to do?
He would like to purchase it. The thing is, there's a
What's the
drainage ditch through there
Drainage?
that
What's
we would
drainage
have to
ditch?
maintain.
Who's this?
That's the road.
Well, that's where everyone's right here.
This is just a ditch that we usually maintain anyway.
He's been mowing it, correct?
What's that?
He's been mowing it.
Yeah, he's been mowing it. That's talking about the ditches. We usually maintain the ditches in there.
So he owns here, and this would be basically North Street. And then the city owns this, but we would have to maintain this drainage ditch. But he wants up to that. But he claims he mows this. Right?
He might be mowing it, I do. Because he made the comment to me that we wouldn't have to mow it if he at least maintained it and then he could use it for.
So where's this at?
North Street, this would be Quincy, this is North Street. Butler's storage units are over here. I'll have that trailer house that sits this way on Quincy.
It's gravel or dirt or something.
He wants the blue triangle.
He wants up to the drainage ditch, which would create, he wants, cause he has this, so he wants up to there. And I don't know,
What's that gonna cause a conflict?
What's that?
is that gonna cause a conflict? I mean, we would have to maintain that drainage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess my concern would be if he just wants up to that drainage ditch, we would have to come up with a legal description to deed just that property. And I was gonna look and it was what? 4:30 when we started talking about it, yeah. I don't know if that part where North Street goes to the west of Quincy, if you could just do that vacated part of North Street and not worry about that little triangle to come up with.
What is that drainage ditch for?
Just to drain North Street, it drains straight on out to that ditch.
To the railroad ditch?
Uh-huh.
But we would still have to maintain the ditch, correct?
The ditch
I
part, we
mean, we
probably have
would,
to clean it out.
we,
once in a
we
while.
couldn't sell the whole we could sell the whole triangle piece, but we would have to, there would still have to be that ditch through there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd wanna keep right of ways through there for the ditch and.
Have to make a reservation on the deed.
And I don't know that he wants the whole triangle piece, does he?
The upper part to the
Mhm.
north, no, I don't think he wants
Yeah, he
just
just
up
wants
to
to
that
that
ditch.
drainage ditch, so that we don't have a legal description for that. That's why I said I didn't know if we had just that vacated part of North Street that goes west of Quincy, if that would be enough to vacate that. You see what I'm talking about, Lauren?
Yeah.
If that would be enough of, then we would still keep the triangle piece, he would just have that vacated part of. That was my concern, is if he didn't want the full triangle, having to come up with a legal description.
Well, I guess see if you can come up with one. I don't know.
Is it gonna
If you
cause any
can't,
problems with, the drainage if he goes up to the drainage ditch? No complications with him or anything?
Shouldn't be.
We would have to reserve, we just have to reserve a right of way and an access to be able to access the drainage ditch.
Right.
Well, basically, we're reserving an easement 10 feet onto his property in the event that city needs to do it for city operations.
Yeah. But I'm just wondering if that part of North Street is still platted. That would,
This part?
to the west over to where the railroad right up. I mean, if this is the road right of way through here, that's still road right of way. If we vacated that, would that not become,
I don't
would
know.
that not be,
Mm.
this is, if this is
Does
truly
it
platted for the road, if we vacated that part, then that we would still keep this part and then
Because he's just wanting this.
he's wanting up to here. But we don't have a legal for that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, if we had just this vacated, if this is truly platted North Street through here, this piece right here.
Right.
If that could be vacated. I guess maybe we should look into what this piece is actually. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's his property and this is our property and this is North Street, so I'm assuming it's part of what was platted.
Yeah, without actually seeing the plat or actually looking into if it's platted, I don't know that we know.
Is all that map over there?
Do we have an actual plat map?
You can kind of see it. Not very well.
So it would be
Yeah.
right down in here. That's his trailer in the garage, and it would be. So should we look more into it?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe?
I think that I don't.
I mean,
I'd like to see it first.
Go down and look at it.
Yeah.
okay, we'll just tell him. We'll
I mean, we've got to look at the plat. We've got to see if that is.
truly planted.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll work.
Matt Henslick called me. He's the tree trimmer from Atwood. He's the only certified guy around here that can clear lines. I don't know if we're still interested in doing any line clearing. Would be $3,000 a day for his crew, his equipment.
When was the last time we did?
Line clearing? A couple years ago when I was doing it,
Oh.
probably. We've never had anybody else come in and do it.
Okay, I didn't know.
No. This will be a first, this is a new thing.
Do you have much to do?
We could keep them busy for a week or two. If we wanted to.
A week or two at 3,000 a day?
Well, we should, right? And we got trees that are definitely approaching, right?
Well, and the other side of that is too, is that Dan's got limited time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't have anybody on our crew
Limited
that can.
people.
You don't have to give homeowners a letter to say they're gonna come in here and just do it without them trying to do it.
Don't think so.
Do you have to give notification?
It's,
I mean, there's
I'm
city
looking.
lines.
I think it's,
What's that?
she's looking, but I think if it's in our lines, we have the right to.
Does it matter where the trees are? Like, if they're right along an alleyway, it doesn't really matter, does it?
I don't think so.
I think if they're in our lines, we can take them out.
I think if they overhang the streets, we can take them out.
Well, that'd be every damn tree in this town.
I know the ones by Cromwell's place, those are up into the lines pretty close. That needs done. There'll be some others.
There's up by the high school.
Yeah.
Killingsworth.
Yeah. I mean, it's a disaster waiting to happen if we don't do it.
Well, actually, it sounds like it might be a good investment.
Yeah, get it done before storms. They got power lines with.
Well, with all the upgrades that we've been doing
Yeah,
Yeah, we got our.
Yeah.
with
all the
electrical and stuff, I
systems
mean, that's
put in.
just a part of it,
Mhm.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Fires.
should we come back to that while Lauren's looking?
Why don't you come up with, for $3,000 a day, the hard ones, the ones that really needed.
Yeah.
Come up with a list.
They said that they'll start March 3rd probably in Colby, and they got 8 days in Colby doing that. Colby does it every year. They use him every year.
Yeah. You better do it.
So I don't know, do we want to set up so many days? Because we'll have to have a motion for to spend the money.
How much do you think? How many days do you think?
Does he have to come up here and look at it, or are we just gonna say,
Fine.
No.
3,000 a
Can we
day, you just
take
tell them
that
what you
out of-
want to.
well, how much is $3,000 a day?
What?
3 hours? 8 hours?
That's an 8-hour day.
An 8 hour day?
Yeah.
Whose trees are they?
It would be wherever they're grown into the power lines. It would be clearing the power lines, so,
All over town.
yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be the property owner or the tree on the property then, or?
Just whatever's up on the power lines.
I mean, there's a lot of cities that go in and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not up to the property owner then, it's up to us to do the electrical. I know on mine, I just took the whole tree out, so I didn't have to worry about it.
No, we've got to at least clear the line.
Yeah.
And then after that, we can do whatever, but
Yeah, no, I think we have the right to clear them. So, how many days are you?
I don't know. We could try it for a week. We're gonna do 5 days.
Everybody
Probably
okay with
How
that?
much is he charging?
3,000 a day.
3,000 a day.
3,000 a day.
Justin made a motion, didn't you? Did I hear a motion? Did I not
Well, I
hear a
might have
motion?
said, I guess how much are we looking at, I guess.
3,000 a day for a week would be,
Now, is that clean, he's gonna cut and clean up the lawn?
Capital improvements.
I think it's here.
Capital improvements, is that one?
capital improvements, yeah. Okay, 15,000, yeah.
We could make a motion up to 5 days, and if he's only here 3, obviously we're not gonna pay for it. Or up to 7 days, or something like that.
5 days a week.
Five.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A work
a work week,
Work
yeah,
week.
right, a work week, 5 days?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. So move
Moved by Kale.
How much do you get to clear?
a week.
How much is your right of way?
As far as how far each side.
Or sometimes they butcher those trees out.
Oh, that's what I mean. It's like, I mean, if you don't mind pissing people off.
Well,
I
it'd be really
know,
bad when there's,
I know.
there's an arc and that burns the whole place down.
When there's a storm and we cut it out anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
I know.
So we couldn't get that to 15,000, right?
yeah.
Give him a week and see how he's doing.
Yeah.
I think Kale motioned, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a second? Second by Bud, all in favor? Justin?
Yes, fine. Let's see what we're doing, I guess.
I guess Dan, you would kind of put that together to know, right?
What's that?
What he's.
What he's gonna be doing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had cut all this tree and you got this much tree left, I mean,
Come in and butcher a tree up and
Well, you're at least 20 feet up, so you can have at least a 20-foot tree.
And do they put something out so people know?
No, I don't think so. That's what Lauren was looking up to see
Oh, okay.
whether or not we had to give notice.
No. Public tree care, the city shall have the right to plant, prune, maintain, and remove trees, plants, and shrubs within the lines of all streets, alleys, avenues, lanes, squares, sidewalks, and public grounds as may be necessary to ensure the safety when servicing city utilities or to preserve the symmetry and beauty of public grounds. The city may remove or cause or order to be removed any tree, part thereof, which is an unsafe condition or which by reason of its nature is injurious to sewers, electrical power lines, gas lines, water lines, or other public improvements, or is affected with any injurious fungus, insect, or other pest. And then it has notice requirements for diseased trees, dangerous or dead trees.
I mean, we could go many, many weeks of the trees that need to come down.
Yeah. But as far as just clearing the power line, so.
1 week at a time.
Let's do it. Let's get it. As far as when we do property cleanup, do we look at the trees that just need taken out?
We haven't really, have we? Just the ones that have been of obvious
Dangerous ones.
concern. Mhm. I don't know that we've actually looked at trees.
I mean, there's a lot of nasty, gnarly widowmakers up there.
Yeah. You say he's out of Atwood?
Hmm?
The guy's out of Atwood?
Yeah.
Has he renewed his tree license?
He does. He's gonna come in and take care of it.
What's we approve? What time frame does he think he's coming?
Well, he said after March 3rd, because he had 8 days in Colby, March 3rd.
In March.
Yep. So I think right after that, probably get started. Okay, so we've been working on that sand spreader that we are getting nowhere with. I was gonna ask you guys if we can purchase this one from like Northern Tools. It'll fit in the back of a pickup. It's a simple electric motor. If it goes bad, you buy another electric motor, you know. The one we got now is hydraulic.
But it can take coarse sand.
Yeah, it's a salt sand mix.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I could find out more information on it. That one's roughly $5,060 to ship. There'd be probably $300 to ship it at least.
What pickup you gonna put it in?
What pickup?
Yeah, pretty heavy.
Be 200 pounds.
Well, what's the old one?
What's our old?
Yeah, what's the old setup?
It's the one that goes on the dump truck. Or the
Yeah.
stage truck, right?
Yeah.
Stay getting ready to do
Anyway. Getting ready to trucks?
it? Yeah.
Oh, why?
In the market for it.
Huh?
In the market for it.
You are?
No, you are. What are we gonna do with the old one?
The old spreader, I'll drag it out every day until you get to run right. We can keep messing with it and see what we can use. Right now, we don't have, we've got a little barrel thing that goes on the back of the pickup. And if we run into problems, we'll have it on the pickup.
Right now, too?
Yeah, that one flatbed that we can put it on.
Yeah.
It's not four-wheel drive, it's not.
Pretty heavy, though. We wouldn't need it.
Not real heavy three-quarter ton.
Kind of backwards.
We can stick it back in the dump truck, I guess. Just be nice to free up a dump truck. There's guys selling the dump truck. Could. Be pretty nice.
Where's it going?
Huh?
How much is it on?
27.5.
Oh, didn't you have something wrong with the other one?
All of our dump trucks have problems.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Anybody have any issues with
No. No.
your motion to
What was the amount?
50-60? Was that the total?
Be 50, 60 plus. I'll bet it'd be at least 300 to ship, maybe more than that. So,
So what, 5,500?
probably.
Is that
I'm going to approve up to 5,500.
a move
The
by Larry?
spreader.
Second.
Second by Kale, all in favor? Okay. Out of,
Equipment reserve.
Equipment reserve, I'm sorry.
You want a little more wiggle room for shipping, just in case?
that's what I was wondering.
Can,
Let's say up to 6.
up to 6,000.
Yeah, because who knows, it might be,
I modified him.
might come on a 18-wheeler.
Beaver Valley on there? Beaver
LTL.
Valley on
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
I don't know. I could call them and check. So there is a truck I was just telling Justin about for 27.5. I might go look at it and see if it's worth purchasing. If so, I'll come back.
Dump,
It's a dump truck.
where's it at?
Cope, Colorado. Well, in fact, it's the guy that's supposed to haul our grass off. It's one of his trucks. So,
Did you didn't haul that off yet, did he?
I don't know. I haven't been up there for a while.
He doesn't have a truck yet. He's gonna sell this one first.
And Tyler with B&H will be here tomorrow. We're gonna go look at Scott Street. The chip seal didn't stick in a few places very good, so he's coming out to look at it and see what we need to do to try to fix it or whatever.
Prices go down yet?
On chip,
Yeah.
I don't know.
When are you looking to get new rock? How much is rock?
I haven't looked into rock or anything yet, to be honest with you.
Is that the only street that it didn't stick?
Did you wanna look at the streets that we might have and see how much price that would be?
You got on that list, right?
Yeah,
Larry?
yeah, we could. Would you have time to take a look at this?
I could ask him when he gets here tomorrow.
I can get with you.
Is it gonna need more crack sealing in some of the places?
I'm sure he would. We just need to look at what needs done and get a price on
Okay.
Did I give you a copy of the list?
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I think most of the crack sealing's like, I think it's 5,500 for like a pallet. And they wanna do at least 3 pallets usually to make it worth their time coming out or more.
Some of the ones that we already crack sealed, like on College Street, need crack seal.
You mean the ones that are chipped?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm gonna have him look at that too.
Okay.
So I stopped and looked at some of them tracks up there that you can still see the track, but it does have rock filled in
Right.
down in there, so I wanna have him look at it when he's here. Other than that, I did get 3 people signed up for the water conference, and DJ and I are gonna try to take the tests. So,
Who's the third?
John's going just
John
to
is
use
going.
time. Yeah. Keep him certified until he leaves. That's all I have.
Any questions for Dan? Do I hear a motion to accept and file the superintendent report? Moved by Justin, second by Kale, all in favor? Okay. Attorney report.
So last meeting, there was a discussion about G-Works, who is the company with whom we currently have our municipal court software. Effective as of 2026, they are going to a cloud-based platform, and their current model, which we have, which is a desktop format, will no longer be available unless you purchase a $600 read-only license, so that way we can access previous files. The quote that they gave us for the new court management is an implementation of $1,500, which they gave 100% discount on. The court management annual fee was $1,781 a year, and then the G-Works, or the Simple City read-only license would be $600 a year, so the city would be looking at $2,381 a year. Right, but it would be $600 a year going forward, every year.
600 every year?
Yes, $600 a year every year, and even if we pay the $600, it's only available for people who have current G-Works licensing, which means that if we decide to go with someone else at any point in the future, we cannot access our previous files. So it would be the $2,381 every year.
Is there somewhere we can download all these files to keep on our own?
We can, so the thing is, yeah, we can download the files, but we would have to turn them all into PDFs. And there's a lot of different aspects to the software of downloading, such as the docket reports, the payment applications. There are certain things inside of each of the case files in there. We can download them all as PDFs so that we can open them, because if we just download the one case from that, it retains that file source, and we still wouldn't be able to open it if we don't do this. I went round and round with
What would
the
it
baby on
cost
top.
us to pay somebody to do that? Bring it all down where one time, when it's all to where we have it from there on, and not have to pay this $600.
Is there some kind of record retention requirement for municipal?
I mean, this is all previous cases, including ones we're still getting payments on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not, going way. I mean, it is also going way back, but
That's a lot of money.
it is a lot of money. And so I didn't know. Were you able to get in touch with CIC to get a quote?
So I did get a hold of, I want to see. Yeah. Right here. Okay, so I got a hold of our rep from CIC. His name is Joseph Morris. I asked him about CIC's court software, how much would it be if they can integrate the files that we have, pull them in, how long onboarding takes, if the system was fairly easy to use and get adapted to. He responded with, he will work on getting the proposals together. Onboarding normally takes about 90 days. Typically, the cost to convert old records is higher than most cities want to pay, and most cities manually set up any information they want. The court system does interface directly with the cash receipting on the CIC that we currently have. So it would just print out their receipt right then and there. Everything would just go hand in hand. He's supposed to contact me once he has the proposal and to schedule a demo of their program, but at this time I have nothing from them.
I mean, as far as can we do it, because I know there was a concern about that, where yes we can. I mean, it doesn't breach anything for us to take it off. That was the 26 pages of master services agreement. We do have that authority to do so. As far as the time involved, I do not know off the top of my head what the municipal court record retention is. I don't know that the municipal court files have ever been purged.
Not sure.
So, I can look into the record retention. I mean, because if we only have to keep so many years going back, that being said, it very well may be that we do have to keep the history of it. I don't know if CIC has a downloadable desktop version like we have of GWorks. GWorks is going cloud-based. In my review of the master service agreement, there were a couple things that stood out to me as concerning. The terms of service, which is their Exhibit A, states that they will use adequate security precautions to minimize the likelihood of any unauthorized access through the internet to client materials or other data provided by the clients to GWorks through the site, including, among other things, the use of a secure server, protective firewalls, and encryption. So they will be using that. My concern in reading that is both the terms of service and the master service agreement have in there that GWorks and its affiliates' entire cumulative liability and a client's exclusive remedy in law, equity, or otherwise for all damages and liabilities. Basically, the only thing that they can be liable for, is the maximum amount of damages is what has been paid to them within 6 months of the incident triggering their liability. Which means that if we paid that in January, and they are hacked and there's a breach in August, we paid that more than 6 months ago and we have waived our right. So if our information is compromised, if citizens' information is compromised, if our banking information for the payment of fines is compromised, we're limiting our remedies to what we've paid them in the last 6 months. And that is my concern with cloud-based software. So I'm
That's pretty much everything.
right. I mean, the concern. I mean, like I said, the concern specifically being that it limits the liability. It states in here. Regardless of the form of action, shall not in the aggregate exceed the fees actually paid by client to GWorks under the applicable ordering document in the 6 months immediately preceding the event which caused the damage or liability. And I know that there's that risk with everything. I mean, I know there's that risk with everything going to the cloud. My concern is that we don't. Obviously, it would still be possible for, I mean, anybody, anywhere can be, I mean, the Kansas the judicial branch of the state of Kansas was hacked. The Kansas Supreme Court was hacked last year. It's just, I don't know if CIC offers a desktop. And it may be something that the city wants to consider, because what they are saying is basically whatever happens, we get our money back.
CIC, it would just,
Yeah.
yeah, we have a server.
Like CIC is a module that they would download into our server that we already have.
Yeah, it would go right with our financial software, our payroll software. It's a module in the whole suite of stuff that we have.
Okay.
And we have the server inside our office.
Okay.
So let's look and see
I mean, I
what-
think that would be, obviously, like Justin said, the cybersecurity concern is there
Why
with
you have to
everything,
get
with everything,
Insurance, LifeLock or something.
with everything we do online or in the cloud. But I guess my main concern with this, I understand the council's main concern is the cost. My main concern is the city basically gets their money back. They could get a hold of the city's banking, if they get hacked, they get a hold of the city's banking information, or they get the employees' I just don't know.
Well, let's see what CIC costs, and then we'll go from there.
I think that would be, see if we can do it not in the cloud.
Yes.
I don't have anything else other than do I have something else?
Talk about the fees for the.
Oh, sorry, what?
The fees for tickets. Maybe trying to go over it this way. Where are we at with that? You know, so Cody would put a ticket here on for municipal. We just pay a flat fee, right? That we discussed the previous meeting.
Yes. Sorry. The fee schedule has been emailed over. That would have been a question for Cody. The fee schedule had been.
Should I call him and say, hey, Cody, we need your back?
The fee schedule was emailed. I'm guessing that they're implementing that. That's why he was talking about if they scan them in town and they pull them over out there, it still goes through municipal. And so I'm guessing that they have that and they're going to be implementing it. I have not seen anything yet. The court case for the individual with the dogs it was pushed till March, because with the judge changeover and the scheduling and the trainings, we had to push municipal court to the 31st of January, and the hearing for February was set to be on the 13th of February, and that was under 2 weeks, in which time we would have, I would have had to get my witnesses and everything. It just was not going to work. And then she also had a concern. She stated that her documentation does not match what I have in our files. So I told her if she could get that to me, I would clear it up with the sheriff's office. I haven't seen anything. Has she brought anything into the city? So just as a heads up, it was pushed till March 13th, just because there's no way that I could be ready to go for that other hearing again. I'm mostly prepped for it, but I still have to get witnesses subpoenaed and get everybody in, and under 2 weeks notice is just not feasible. So it's been pushed to March 13th. I will probably not be here at the next meeting. If you need me, you can call me in my office. It is farm returns and the last week thereof, and I'm going to be living in my office at that point. So you can reach me at my office number if I'm needed during the meeting. I will reach out to Cody and verify that they've started implementing that. I'm going to guess that's why he said that.
Yeah.
But I'll just reach out and make sure that they've got it.
Any questions for Laura? Now, do I hear a motion to accept and file the attorney report?
Move.
Moved by Justin, Second. Second by Dara, all in favor? Treasurer report?
I do actually have something. So the bank changeover has happened, and the bank does pledging. So they do the same thing that First National Bank does. And so that means we could potentially, if you guys want, we could roll our holding account. So with Bank West, they didn't do pledging, they did Cedars, right? And so we had our main account, and then we had a holding account that was non-interest bearing, and then we have the ICS account. So the bank pledges now, so we could potentially close our holding account, roll that into our main account. And we can do the same thing with ICS. It's something I think that you guys need to consider possibly. Right now in ICS we have $1.8 million. And so, you know, you might want to consider possibly maybe investing some of that and then maybe rolling the rest into our main account. The bank can give us a quote on interest, but like right now, I'm not sure. I couldn't print our statement as of today. Our interest rate in our main account with Bank West wasn't very good. The ICS, they were paying 1.5% at the end of the month. So I'm just letting you know that I think that we need to probably consider at least closing the holding account and rolling that into our main account. Just so we can start getting some interest. You know, maybe talk to somebody at the bank about getting a quote on interest. We'd have to give them a heads up for pledging and such, but something to consider on the ICS. Maybe getting that money back into here, whether we do part of it in CDs or I don't know. You guys talked about the treasury notes or whatever, but eliminate some accounts that we've been having to have because of the way Bank West did things. Something to consider. You don't have to make any decisions tonight, of course, but
Just let us know what you find out.
Can you come up with some numbers?
okay.
I think we should do it.
And I'll come back with interest numbers. If you guys are interested in CDs or the treasury stuff, Leanne's been doing that, so I think that part of it, if you wanted her to get quotes on that, that's up to you guys. I don't think I'd put the whole ICS in CDs. I mean, I don't know. So I definitely, and I talked about it a little bit, and we talked about maybe at least half of it could maybe be, even if it's short-term investments, just maybe at a better interest rate. But definitely it would clean up some of our accounts.
Yeah.
And so
Sounds like a good idea.
yeah. That's all I have, I think.
A motion to accept and file the treasury report.
Move.
Moved by Justin, second by Kale, all in favor? Clerk report.
So the league sent over the Kansas Department of Insurance notification in regards to the Fire Lien Act. This was addressed to both cities and counties. It's in regards to properties that are basically up on the tax lien docket. It states before any steps can be taken, the city or county can, before the city or county can participate in the act, cities must pass an ordinance and the counties must pass a resolution that complies with the act. This is anything that has, I guess, the tax lien of over 75% worth of the property value. We can enforce it instead of waiting, I think, for 3 years. Does that sound right? Maybe I was reading that one wrong, but. To impose a lien on a covered claim payment that is in excess of 75% of the face value of the policy. so any unpaid property taxes or charges.
So it looks like you could put a lien on the property if it had, I'm assuming if, where it's the Fire Lien Act, if there's a fire, you could put a lien on the property for any unpaid taxes.
It says the lien is for any unpaid property taxes or charges and to cure the unsafe or dangerous conditions of the property that suffered the loss. So I was sharing it with council because it said for the city and council. This was per the league. They wanted you guys to know about it. I did not look into the matter any further because we normally don't do anything regarding the property taxes, but the county.
I believe what this is referring to is the part that's relevant to cities is to cure the unsafe or dangerous conditions. So in the event that there is an incident which would be covered by the policy and it leaves the structure in a state which would be condemnable as an unsafe structure, it will allow the city to place a claim or place a lien on that claim for the actions taken by the city necessary to clean that up. I don't think it doesn't preempt the procedure of notice that it's going to be either cleaned up or destroyed or but now it's, rather than just putting it on the tax rolls, there's a lien available, because previously it was exclusively that the costs would be assessed by adding it onto the tax roll.
So are we on this list or not on this list?
So this would require the city to create an ordinance, to pass an
It
ordinance.
says if the city or county you represent is on the list and you believe you should not be, to contact, or if you are not on the list and you believe you should. So is that something that have we ever enacted this before, or?
No.
Okay.
No, but I can reach out to find out like what we would need to do to get on the list if you would like. Or Lauren can.
I don't know. I don't know. How do I want to phrase this? I don't know how frequently this would be relevant to us to go through the process of creating an ordinance, passing the ordinance, sending it to the state. I mean, I just don't know the frequency with which this would be applicable.
According to this, you don't have to be on it.
Right.
No, you know, it's just another insurance for if something, if there was a property that sat there, that somebody, there was a fire and they didn't do anything, we could put the lien on it to get it cleaned up. What's that?
If you live in LA.
Yeah.
Like I just don't know that it's. I
just like, says it's not,
knocking
it's not.
on
I'm
wood.
like,
I don't know how frequently we're going to encounter this situation.
The fires that we've had, have been taken care of mostly by insurance and taken care of, so
Well, this would be insurance would pay them and they didn't fix it, right? Is that my understanding, that we would then put a lien on the property?
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you don't.
We did get our notice from the Kansas Board of Tax Appeals for the property that was purchased by Travis Judson.
We got back.
That we got back. It has been filed. Yay. So,
In another year or two, you might hear back whether or not they've granted the exemption, and by then we might not own it, so.
yes. But it's been filed.
They've received it.
Yes. Out there is notice for Biking Across Kansas 2025. This was all very hush-hush. We weren't allowed to say anything to
Now we
anyone
can.
or, huh?
I said, now we can.
Yes, now we can, even, it's even up on the lovely LED sign out there. Apparently we are going to be their first stop. It starts out Friday, June 6th, and they're supposed to be here June 7th. They have been in communication with the school in regards to activities, and I guess they're putting on a whole luncheon thing while they're here. I don't know who else invited to that, but they're making the most out of it. This is not the first time that we've been a host city, but it's my first time of dealing with it, so I'm kind of excited. Anyways, that's out there for you guys to see where they're going, the map of it. And if you guys have any questions, we can reach out to Sherry with Bike Across Kansas. I received the, I guess, upcoming or revamped City Connecting Link Improvement Program guidelines. I put it out there for you guys. I know the council has opted not to do it in the past, but I just put it out there so you guys can read what all it entails for you guys' information. I know that it was the whole fact that they're not our roads, or it's not our street, so why put in for it, but they gave us the information, so I passed them along. And at the last meeting, the council voted on the delegates for the KRWA, the voting delegates. There was not a vote taken, or a motion, I should say, of putting Dan and DJ on as the voting delegates for the city. I looked back in the minutes from previous years, and I can only find 2 other years where there was actually a motion made for who could be voting delegates. So wanted to find out from the council, would you guys like it to be a motionable thing or not be a motionable thing?
I would think you would want to, if you're vesting the power to vote on behalf of the city, I would think you would want that in a motion.
Okay. Well then, can we get a motion to have Dan and DJ be the voting delegates for the KRWA?
So moved.
Moved by Dara, second by Gail, all in favor? Okay.
That's it.
That's all. Any questions for Leanne? I just have a motion to accept the ballot report. Moved by Gail, second by Larry, all in favor? Council comments, Bud.
I do have grants coming up. Joaquin, I guess she can tell you more about it than I can. It's just a workshop for grants.
Okay.
I put it out there for Bud. He had brought it up to me today. It is the Western, sorry, that's where it's, anyway, it is a grant writing symposium or something of that nature put on by the Dane Hansen Foundation. It's going to be held on February 20th in Mohini at the Western Cooperative Electric Community Room. It's between the hours of 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. That is a Thursday night. Bud had informed me that he thinks that somebody should go.
I was just thinking of something to look into, and somebody should maybe go to it and get involved with the city to help with seeing what grants are out there.
Is it about seeing what grants are out there or about writing the
There's
grants?
some of it states on it that it's for new grants and things.
through Hanson.
So it says we will be holding a gathering for those interested in learning about some of the various state programs offered to counties and communities. Kansas Department of Commerce staff will be presenting on-site certification, tax credits, funding, grant opportunities, and other programs that will benefit our magic corner of the state. We know dollars and programs are available to benefit our communities, and this gathering will provide insight on how to capture them. That was all the information I was able to get from Jessica Matthews.
I only got it yesterday, so I never.
If anybody wants to go,
When and where?
the 20th at 6:30
In Waukene.
in Waukene.
Is it 6:30 to
8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they were saying over there.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I had, just to bring up now.
Okay, Kale,
Not here.
Mary,
Um,
Sarah,
Yeah.
do you have anything?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tell us
It's
what
past my bedtime.
Justin, do you have anything?
Did we ever come to a decision about the whistle going off at noon and all that stuff?
No.
You didn't.
What did we?
Well, I was just looking back at like some notes.
We're gonna try to survey the public somehow, or
I didn't think so.
that was the plan, but I don't know how we're gonna do that.
Just turn it on, see if anybody notices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
See if anybody hears it.
Then that's what we did
I
survey.
can hear it at my
I'll tell
house.
you.
So it's half a block. I'm a half block away and I can't hear it, Kale.
You what?
From like from my house, I can't hear it. Leanne, did you happen to get any information on storage containers?
I did not.
So, that's right. I had somebody else approach me about asking about shipping containers. I told them they were not allowed in the city, and they said, well, they know of some inside city limits, so I think we as a council need to decide if we're going to allow them, and if we're not. I asked Leanne to reach out on the clerk link to see what other cities do, whether or not, if they allow them, and if they do, what kind of stipulations. I know Bird City puts on theirs, they have to be painted all one color. I think they have to reapply every 2 years. So we're checking the condition of them. I don't know if they have to be on a permanent foundation. Anyways, I asked Leanne to reach out to see what other cities do, but I think we need to either enforce the ordinance we have or change it. So.
But there is some already.
There's a couple in town. And we've had Keith Lilly came and had asked about putting one out there on.
I believe they came in for construction and never left.
There's been a couple of them that came in for construction and then became permanent. And so,
Where's that at?
Yeah, where are those?
the county,
The where?
the county
Oh,
has one. There's one across the street from you.
well, yeah. I feel like it's a commercial spot. It's not a huge deal,
I mean,
in a way.
The other thing you gotta watch is as an example, like in Goodland, there's a bunch of them on Main Street now.
Oh, you know, I see them at Walmart now all over too.
Really?
Colby and Goodland. Yeah, I think Goodland has them too. So.
I just think it's something that we either need to enforce the ordinance we have, or if we don't feel that that's the way to go, then I guess. I feel that we should put some stipulation if we're going to allow them, because I can get trashy looking in a hurry, I think, if you allow them.
Yes.
So, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, if you want to wait and see what other cities kind of do, and then kind of.
Let's wait and see what she finds out on other cities, and then myself, if they bring one in, they turn around and put sides on it and make it look like a building, I could care less, it'd be okay, but just to bring in. those and set in the
Yeah, sit in your front
lots.
yard and it's a different story.
Yeah.
For your side yard.
Um,
Huh?
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Need 10 minutes of executive session for non-elected personnel.
I'll make the motion to go into executive session for 10 minutes coming out at, I can't see it,
9:37.
9:37. It's just the council.
Just the council. So you can go home.
Oh, yeah, council and mayor.
10 minutes. Oh, for non-elected
Non-elected
personnel.
personnel.
Job performance, yeah.
Performance review.
Yeah.
Do not leave.
Okay.
Okay.
See you, Lauren.
See ya.
Yeah.
You have a second?
Go birds.
Second.
Motion second.
All in favor?
All in favor? Yes. Yeah. Out of executive session. No decisions were made. Do I hear a motion to go back into executive session for an additional 5 minutes? Moved by Gail, second by Justin. All in favor? Alrighty. Bills on board. Okay,
Move through the bills.
out of executive session. No decisions were made.
Oh, do we all have one? Oh, I don't know.
Just so everybody knows, we are not doing evaluations tonight. We're postponing some things.
I think it's you, Larry.
Us, me and Larry?
I'll explain it when you guys are done with the meeting.
Well, we just,
Need to read. Is that it?
we
Review?
need the, to review the bills on ordinance 1095. Did anybody have any?
I don't know what it is.
I signed the check, so,
Yeah, that too.
yeah. Anybody? If not, do we have a motion to approve the bills on ordinance 1095?
So moved.
Moved by Kale,
Second.
second by Justin, all in favor? Okay. Do we hear a motion to adjourn?
Stay here.
Yeah. Larry wants to stay for the night. Moved by Larry, second by Kale, all in favor? All right. Do you have the sheet, do I have the sheet for me to sign?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I